I wanted to make a quick video about the automation and macros on our Turning Point Worlds robot. So starting with the angler, whenever you clicked it, it would just automatically move to the other position, up or down, opposite of the one it's currently in. And then the shooting, the button right above it, when you clicked it, it would shoot the piston and then pull it back about halfway. And then another cool thing about the shoot button is combined with intake automation that we had, if we just hold this button, it'll run the intake up, and when it detects there's a ball in here with this line sensor, it'll run the intake a little bit slower so it can properly index the second ball right here with this line sensor. And then when it detected those two balls were there, if you held the same shoot button, it would automatically shoot both using a macro that we made that uses these line sensors to detect if it's actually in and angling, and it was running like 3 separate tasks to do that. And then a piece of the control system that we came up with in the zone, we call it a shift key, and we used it in the zone to control the mobile goal lift and the lift on one remote before we switched to dual driver. But for this game we used it because if we wanted to do far shots from the back with the piston, because that was one of the key features of actually having a piston, was shooting from almost everywhere on the field. So if we held this and pressed this button, you'll see it angles a little bit lower than if we don't press that and then press the angling button. And that also worked if we were holding this and there were 2 balls in it and we held the double shot macro, it would automatically do the lower angle for us. And also if we held this button and ran the intake, it would run it backwards. And the reason we did this instead of just putting it on these buttons is because we wanted to have full control of the chassis at all time, because the defensive nature of this game, and just it makes it easier. And a SCUF controller might be a better solution to this, but we didn't really have time or really the desire to print one, just because that works equally well and we're so used to it by the time we got the files for the SCUF controller that there was no point in us switching. The piston pullback was controlled by this line sensor down here, and it would just detect this plate and then go back a certain encoder distance. And then a lot of people at Worlds asked us what these were, and it's a stolen idea from 574, kind of like the rest of the robot. And it just allowed us to select what AUTON we were without using the crappy touchscreen. Other than that, that's about it. The reason we use flaps, that's another pretty common question. With the way the chassis is designed, these balls, when we turned, it would actually let us go over them. So we had a range of this entire width for our intake. So we had such a big margin of error, and it was really good for balls stuck in corners. And we mounted our radio on rubber links because we had disconnection problems at night at the museum. And that's about everything cool we had on our Worlds robot. So yeah, good luck in Tower Takeover.